All right, so it's hard to knock the March Madness tournament off the headlines, but the Shohei Otani situation certainly did that. ESPN sat down with Shohei Otani's interpreter, and it was a 90-minute interview. Why they made him available, I'm still puzzled, but he laid out his account in great detail. And then he was fired, and then all of a sudden the story changed a little bit here. Otani covered his bets, then the story changed, and that now it's theft. And it's a criminal investigation here. There was gambling with an illegal bookmaker, and he was being investigated. And that's where we pick up the story with the LA Times. Gustavo Arellano. Hopefully I got that right, Gustavo, but pardon me if I didn't.
It's Ariano, but it's okay. It's you, Dan. Thank you so much. It is such an honor to be on your show.
All
Baba
right.
Booey.
All right. So help me understand the timeline here of when does the LA Times find out that something's going on?
So this is something that goes back to October. In October, or actually years before, there has been investigations by federal authorities into these illegal gambling rings based out of Southern California. It has already allegedly entrapped other players of other ones. Yasiel Puig, the ex-Dodgers player, of course, has pleaded not guilty to placing illegal bets. Now, one of these investigations targets currently Matthew Bauer or Bower. In October, federal agents raided his home. He has not been accused of any wrongdoing yet, or not any wrongdoing at all. But in the course of that, in that investigation, sources that the Los Angeles Times talked to said that Shohei Otani's name popped up in that.
Okay, but then when do you realize there's more to that story and that Otani's involved, but it's a little bit deeper and he's involved financially?
So we of course, start asking people. Major League Baseball declined comment. The U.S. Attorney's Office out here in Los Angeles declined comment. The Los Angeles Dodgers declined comment. We go to Shohei Otani's representatives, and this is what they tell us. They said that we'd never heard about any of this. They started doing their own investigation. According to them, the Shohei Otani's longtime translator, Ipe Mizuhara, he was less than forthcoming with whatever questions they asked him. Lo and behold, the Los Angeles Dodgers fire Mizuhara, and Shohei Otani's attorneys, they put out a press release saying that our client is a victim of, this is their words, not the LA Times, massive theft, and we are going to be contacting the proper federal authorities. And the massive theft allegedly involved Mizuhara trying to cover his gambling debts with Bower, the man who is alleged of doing an illegal gambling ring.
Okay, but I'm trying to understand this because the interpreter's story has changed.
Yeah.
What he told ESPN and then why they made him available for 90 minutes to an investigative reporter, I am puzzled by. He has a story, and he says Otani covered his gambling debts. Then all of a sudden, now Otani's the victim of theft. How are they explaining this?
We would love to talk to Mizuhara. He has not made himself available to comment for us. So ESPN, they were able to get that. We were the ones who broke the story. When you have someone telling a reporter one thing, and then, of course, also with the ESPN, the spokesperson basically disavowed what Mizuhara said. All of a sudden, Mizuhara then says, oh, yeah, first Shohei was there with me when he did the wire transfers, 2 wire transfers, $500,000 a piece that was sent to the Boyer, however you pronounce his last name, Bower world. And now, no, Shohei had no knowledge at all about my gambling problems. One has to wonder what's actually going on.
Anything that's attached to betting on baseball?
According to our sources, absolutely not. That there was definitely not Major League Baseball, not even Japanese baseball or any other international baseball. That the sports involved was, as was told to us, random sports. Some of the sports that we have heard is soccer, also golf, and then ESPN or Mizuhara himself said that he had bet on basketball, on I believe NFL football as well. So just a little bit of everything.
But Otani, all you have to do is, if they want to seize his computer, they would be able to see, or what he put on the check, that if you put loan on the checks, which has been reported, do you have information of what he put on, the check that he was going to cover these gambling debts? Did he put loan on it to his interpreter to cover these bets?
We do not have, or rather, ESPN reported that the bank transfers, the bank documents that they had said loan. It had Shohei Otani's name, and Otani, the way it is actually spelled without the H, so Otani, and that they said loan. Mizuhara himself told ESPN that, oh yeah, Shohei was covering these bets or these losses for me. I'm gonna plan to pay him in the futures, and that's what's it's at. And this is all according to Mizuhara, and also Otani. And then, of course, this comes out with Otani's representative saying that he is the victim of quote massive theft.
What's next for the LA Times on this story?
We are continuing to report on this story. We, as you know, it's my colleagues, Nathan Fenno, Adam Olmarek, Paul Pringle, Dylan Hernandez, Jack Harris. Obviously, a story of this complexity takes a lot of folks to really delve into. Right now, no one is being charged with anything. Federal authorities have not commented. Otani was never once suspected of doing anything illegal. Bower has not been charged with anything. Also, the federal agents say that there has not been anything asked of them to start investigating into Mizuhara as well. But this all broke 18 hours ago. Obviously, this story is changing by the minute, and we're going to be on top of it.
Well, great stuff so far, Gustavo. Thank you for joining us, and hopefully they let you out of your closet there, because looks like that's tight quarters there. Not much room to move there.
I'm just taking inspiration from your desk, so thank you.
Thank you very much.
Gracias.
Gustavo Arellano, the LA Times writer. LA Times, a group of writers covering this story.